And this is Chief Meteorologist Derek Tallman. This is actually breaking news in Portland, Michigan, near Lansing, Michigan, where a possible tornado had hit with extractive damage. And this is the story from WXYZ.com.
Building on the other side of the church, and they were in the house. Their house, a little bit of damage, but for the most, I think they still got the electricity.
Ma'am, for folks that aren't from this town, tell me about this town. Tell me about the people. How are they going to respond to this?
We will come back from it. It's not the end.
Go on.
Yes, you clean up and go on.
Have you seen anything like this in this town?
Never before. Never before.
I live out in the country, and my neighbor's house is level. And that's separate from this, but it'll maybe all connected.
But then all three churches here, what do you think? What do you see in all three of these?
We'll all go on. It may not be in these buildings, but it'll be in something. And I imagine there'll be service this Sunday someplace.
Our best wishes, of course, are with you, ma'am, as we look at all of this damage around here. Again, a very strong community that is coming together after immense damage to their churches, to their homes, to their schools, to the ball fields that all of them play in, that they are so familiar with. So a hard day for all of these folks in this small town about a half hour west of Lansing. People just coming out to just survey everything and see what they need to do to start. Again, we've been using that cliche, picking up the pieces, which is literally what they need to start doing here once they survey all of the damage. But just some incredible pictures and images that we're showing you here, guys. Let's send it back to you.
Jonathan, if you can hear us, and we know you are on a delay there, you've been doing a great job showing us all of the damage there. And what that woman just said, I mean, we don't know about any injuries there, but they can rebuild. You can rebuild a church, you can rebuild a house, but you can't bring back someone who has died. So it's good that we haven't heard about any injuries as of yet.
Well, really powerful words, Jonathan, and we're walking along with you. This is the assessment phase. This is the discovery phase, and still surprised to hear that there have been no injuries. That's good news. But are they still searching for people who may be possible victims?
Well, as we were showing you just a couple of minutes ago, there were some search dogs out here, some volunteers, police, firefighters with those dogs. We presume that's what they were doing. We haven't heard of any major rescues aside from those people that were trapped inside the Goodwill store downtown earlier today, and they were thankfully rescued. They are okay, we know that. We haven't heard of any other stories yet of people trapped, but I think they probably just don't know yet. I mean, a lot of the police officers we've been talking to, we said, you know, where is the worst of it? And they just said, just keep driving, we don't know. You know, they've all obviously arrived on scene when this thing came through, and they themselves are trying to get their bearings as to just who was the hardest hit, what's been damaged, who's hurt, who's not hurt. But as you did just see in those live pictures a couple of minutes ago, there were some search dogs with volunteers, with firefighters and police, I think just going around to the rubble, some of the major damage, some of the trees that are down, to make sure that there is nobody that's trapped inside their homes or under any of this debris. Obviously, your thoughts are with elderly folks or those that may be immobile that might not have been able to get out or get to a safe place when they heard all of this coming through. But as you heard this woman mention just a minute ago, she said the pastor was actually inside the church that you're looking at live right now, or he was at least possibly in the pastor's home, which is attached to it, maybe not right inside the church, but he, we understand, got out okay, which is the good news.
Jonathan?
And as you heard her, you know, say, obviously they're taking all of this in, and it's, yeah.
That is the good news. We're going to ask you to pause right there. You've been doing a wonderful job showing us all of the damage, but we're going to get to Chief Meteorologist Dave Rexroth.
Yeah, I want Johnny to, stay with the pictures if you can, pan back to the church, because some of the things that we've been telling you for years and years and years are something. Now, if you see the rubble and the debris on the bottom, now if you pan up, Johnny, we'll be able to see the roof line, and we've heard that the pastor of this church was in a smaller building right behind the church. You see how the largest part of that church, which is of course the sanctuary, has the roof gone. And we always tell you to stay out of the large areas like gymnasiums at schools. You go to the bathroom in the hallways. In churches, you stay out of the sanctuaries. You go to the smaller areas or smaller rooms. You notice the church tower, Johnny, if you continue to pan out and up, the church tower is up higher, more susceptible to the wind, but relatively okay. And again, it's these larger roof spans that we try to keep people away from in the event of a high wind event like this, or a tornado as well. So you can see direct evidence of why we tell you what we tell you in terms of safety, as to stay away from large roof spans, because they're always the weakest point on any building. In this case, it's very good evidence there of what happened to that church. The other church that we saw too, the red brick church, problems with the roof line. So very good evidence of why we tell you what we tell you. And it also shows you how the tornado looks like it went right down the street. Some buildings are really ripped up and other buildings are not. That's just the freaky nature of winds at these kinds of high speeds. When you can see a tree standing perfectly fine like it was just planted, the next one is completely gone and ripped up. So it's hard to tell you exactly what's going to happen in a tornado because the winds are so strong, so it's so devastatingly strong, and obviously not controlled. So there's no rhyme or reason sometimes to why one house is a problem like this one here, and then the next one it could be completely gone. But just want to give you an idea about the safety there. In terms of staying away from large spans, large roofs, large buildings in any place you are, a business office, a church, a school, particularly stay away from the gymnasium. But we always tell you to go to the smallest room. It's more structurally sound, and it's a better place to be in terms of safety. Put as many walls between you and the storm as possible. But this is very good evidence, unfortunately, of what happened there up in Florida.
All right, Dave, I do want to ask you a quick question, but we do want to let our viewers know that we are beginning Action News at 6, and we're going to continue our breaking news coverage. You're looking at live footage out of Portland. This is about 30 minutes from Lansing, and our Jonathan Carlson has been on the scene all afternoon showing us all of the damage, and Heather Catallo, of course, joins me now live here in the studio. Dave, let me ask you one quick question, and I don't know if you just mentioned this, but could you see this tornado or possible tornado?
And we'll be right back with the breaking news on this devastating day in Portland, Michigan, where a tornado hit northwest of Lansing, about 30 miles northwest of Lansing. It's a very emotional story. We even have people on the side here watching it. We're going to get a lot of questions and answers today. Very emotional to see. But like we always say, safety is very important. We've got much more coming up. Stay tuned.
Tree limbs, parts of buildings, houses, that kind of thing. When that gets inside the tornado where there's destruction happening, it's called a debris ball, and we had indications.
Eric, I guess what we'll just do is go ahead and continue to let this roll until they turn off the camera, and then we'll go ahead and go back on the air.
We were discussing that, looking at that.
As long
We
as
don't
this
put
is
out
going on.
warnings here.
So go ahead and keep filming on camera too on this thing on the tornado if you can, because we've got Channel 7 on right now live, and they're out there.
And unfortunately,
Lansing right
came
now.
out very, very well,
It's
which
very
gives us confidence.
Oh yeah,
Tools
very
going
devastating
forward,
to see
even though
that.
they're new here.
Very
But
devastating.
it's called dual pole Doppler radar, which is an enhancement, and you see the result of the winds inside that storm. So
Yeah,
yes,
that's
we can
like
see
the
this.
worst.
We can have even more
That's
measures now
actually
to
the
keep
worst
safe here
part of
in
the tornado
Southeast
that I've
Michigan.
ever seen.
Again, that White House across the
Very
street, literally
devastating,
just across the
very
street from the
devastating.
church, with
Very
besides branches and trees and that kind of thing, looks virtually untouched. But across the street, you have a church that is quite decimated.
All right, Dave, I know you've been following this storm coverage. The good news for us.
Good news is we have no warnings here, and
that,
even the
you know,
watch has been
that's
dropped. We'll
another
talk
thing I
about our
was gonna
forecast
tell
a bit, but
Eric
it's
as well.
really
You
calmed
have
down
been
here.
following
The storm that did
the
that
severe
moved through
storms
here,
all the
and
way
we don't
through.
have problems
You've
right now. There you can
actually
see
made
there's
it,
no
even
watch
though that
warnings
was
in our area.
stressful and
All the rain is
emotional.
even gone to the
Thank
to
you
the
very
east.
much,
So
Eric.
better news for all the activities.
I'm going to be here for the
All
rest
right,
of the
Dave, thank you
evening,
so much.
so
We'll check back
I'm
with you
not
in just a
going
bit. And
nowhere.
let's check back with Jonathan Carlson live at the scene in Portland, assessing
Okay,
damage
let's listen
there.
to more here. Let's see what else they have to say about the tornado.
Yeah, guys, we're going to show you a live picture here of just one of the churches that sustained major damage here, one of the Baptist churches here in town. The roof pretty much completely ripped off. I want to start by bringing in one of the residents that lives on the corner here. Sir, describe what you heard, what you saw when you came out of your house.
Well, I was closing a window in my house, and I heard a loud bang, and my patio door fell out on the patio. Didn't break the glass, the patio door's out. And then I looked out the window, and disaster. All three churches are missing their roofs.
Tell me about this town, about the people, about what this means to all of you.
It means a lot because we're a tight town. Everybody helps everybody else. We've done a number of things, but you know, there's an old saying that tornadoes never hit where the two rivers come together.
And at
Hogwash.
least let them know
The looking
that
glass
we're
is right
okay
down
in
the hill.
Macomb County,
Ties
but
into the
just
Grand
let them
River.
know to keep
We got it.
rolling it in,
But you know what, there's a lot of property
rolling
damage,
the
but nobody's
film
hurt.
here, because this is
Nobody's
very
hurt.
devastating.
That is the good news.
And
And
this
we've-
is
one
really
of the
hard
things
for us
that
to
I've been
watch.
struck by is just how many people are out here helping each other,
You know,
surveying the damage.
We have our staff
Good group of
here,
folks
you
here.
know, we're all
Excellent people. Excellent
holding
people.
hands right
Excellent.
now.
We couldn't do, I couldn't live in a better place. Really.
You know, if I can go ahead and
And
ask a couple of
now that I'm
questions
retired,
here.
I'm moving.
Um,
No more winners.
Well, we're glad you're okay, and I appreciate you talking to me, sir. Good luck to you and your...
Okay, we're sorry to even pause that. We're going to get back to that as soon as we can. We are just having a very, very emotional time right now. This is very hard to watch. Obviously, a lot of people here in southeast Lower Michigan are bearing down and holding hands today as they watch the devastating outbreak of the severe weather. And it was very emotional for one young man. And before we go back to the live scene, this is what he has to say for those people that were impacted by this. I just want to say to those people that are out there that live out in Portland, Michigan, just northwest of Lansing, I just want to say, because I'm a chief meteorologist myself, but I just want to say that no matter the outcome, we just all pray in Jesus' name that everybody is okay, even though they're still looking to see if there's any devastating or any kind of injuries or anything like that. Because just watching the scenes, that was the reason why we had paused this, so you guys could see, so we could answer questions and stuff of that nature, and then we'll get into our basic review of what happened out here in Macomb County, because I'm sure you guys were kind of devastated about that, and we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. But go ahead, what you were saying. I don't mean to cry about it. It's just really hard to see that because it's just really hard, you know, and that's what we were really afraid of, you know, this afternoon. You know, I was gone all day and didn't even think about it. And since that a lot of our staff right now at this given time are very emotional, we're going to go ahead and roll the tape, and then we're probably going to be off the air shortly, but we just wanted to let you know that this is very devastating for a lot of people to see, and I know that, Eric, you've been covering a lot of this. You have been doing an excellent job with the severe weather. I can't thank you enough. I mean, it would have been good if you were out there to actually see all this happen, but I don't think I'd be able to go down there and see all that. I mean, I think I would be really devastated if I was like down there and I seen it happen. Because I mean, just seeing people walking around, holding hands and stuff. I mean, that's gotta be terrible. It's gotta be terrible. Well, Eric, we're actually gonna let you go and relieve yourself. We're gonna pray for you and stuff like that, even though that you don't have